Hello, my friend. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is the Celebrity Chat. And today I'm talking to Sophie Watson, who is a soul coach and such an interesting human and so many great insights. And the story of how she became a soul coach is fascinating, and I hope you really enjoy it. Let's talk about how to be your true self. Take care, my friends. See you soon. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. I almost forgot. I just wanted to jump back in and let you know that I am having a free masterclass on March the 29th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it is the 6 keys to unlocking your best life. So if you want to have some quick actionable items that can really help you get a handle on where you need to focus your attention and some first steps to get you going, join me at that free masterclass. The link is in the show notes, and I will hope to see you there soon. Take care, my friend. Hello, my friend. Welcome. How are you? I hope you're having an outstanding day. This is Heather. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is the awesome human celebrity chat edition where I get to talk to some pretty cool people, I have to say. And I've never met a celebrity I didn't like. And today is no different. Today is a fabulous human being. This is Sophie Watson, and she is a soul coach, which you're going to say, what the heck is a soul coach? So that's what we're going to find out, right? Right. And we're going to talk about the importance of being true to yourself. Is that what we decided? Sophie,
yeah,
help me out here.
Being your true self.
Being your true self, all of those things,
Yeah.
however you want to say it. Welcome. It's so awesome that we connect. I wanted to ask you, the first thing, so everyone knows, the first thing I ask is always, how the heck did you become a soul coach?
Well, that's a really long story.
We got time.
Yeah, good. So I basically, I have always been interested in the unseen. So spiritual stuff, even when I was a kid, I was always fascinated by it. And my mum used to go and see clairvoyants and mediums. And when I was about 15, she came home one day and she'd bought me tarot cards and crystals. Now, she never bought my sister anything like that. So I have a feeling that she was told that I would end up doing this kind of work. And I used to muck about with my friends, do the tarot cards for them. And it sort of like all got put to one side when I went to college and then got a job. And I had various different jobs over the years, and I eventually had, like, they were so different. They ranged from like being a care assistant to then rebottling chemicals for an astrochemical plant, and then becoming a photographer.
Oh, okay.
So ranged. But I absolutely loved being a photographer. But the thing was, I ended up becoming the head photographer and doing all sorts of silly hours. So I was doing evenings, weekends, bank holidays. Every time that my friends were out and about, I was basically working, and it started to get to me in the end. And I was going home at night crying to my husband going, I don't know I can do this anymore. And he said, well, why don't you just hand your notice in? And so I took that and literally handed him my notice the following day. And he said, I didn't actually mean for you to do that. I meant for you to find a job first.
I didn't mean it. Take it back.
But it was one of the best things I could have possibly done, because immediately I felt so much better because I no longer had this pressure on me.
Right.
Anyway, on the lead up to doing that, I kept getting in the back of my mind that I needed to go and see a clairvoyant or a medium. And I had this chat with a friend of mine. She said, "Oh, go and see this lady. She's so good." And this was before the days of Facebook and your details being everywhere on the internet. And I booked this appointment with this woman, and the only information she had on me was my first name and my phone number. So I've gone along for this appointment, and everything that she said was absolutely spot on. She was bringing through my granddad. She was bringing through my uncle. She was like literally coughing as my granddad and uncle were around her because they used to smoke so much that she was like, "Oh my God, I can't breathe." So that I was really listening to what she said. And then she said, "Your granddad says, remember the marbles." I'm like, "Oh my God." When I was a kid, I had a biscuit tin with Princess Di and Charles on it, full of marbles. And there was no way she could have possibly known any of this information. I had even forgotten about the marbles. So we carried on the conversation. So I'm really paying attention to what she's saying. And she then went, "You could be doing what I'm doing." I was like, what? How? She said, "Well, I'd have you sit in my spiritual development group, but you live too far away." And I was like, "I don't mind traveling. That's absolutely fine." She said, "No, you need to find your own group." So I had that in the back of my mind. And we continued the conversation. And then she mentioned Reiki. Now, at the time, I'd never heard of Reiki before. And I was sat there going, what the hell is this woman talking about? What is Reiki? Now, she didn't say that I should learn it, but she mentioned it. And so it stuck with me. So when I left, I went and did a bit of research on what Reiki was. And I was like, "Oh my God, people can do that? That's amazing. I want to learn." So literally a couple of weeks later, there was a psychic fair on down the road from where I lived. So I went along to this psychic fair. And as soon as I walked in, the first person I saw was this woman advertising that she taught Reiki. So I had this conversation with her, signed up for her weekend course, went along to the weekend course, and it turned out that it was just me and one other woman on the course for the whole weekend.
Wow.
So I thought, well, that's amazing in itself. Anyway, because it was just the two of us, she got her friend along for us to practice on. So when it came to that time, I worked on him. And when I finished, he sat up and he said, "All I'm getting is the future's bright." I thought, well, that's a bit of a strange thing to say. Turns out he ran a spiritual development group. So it was like, as soon as I said, yes, I want to go down this pathway, then all the right teachers just suddenly appeared in front of me. So I then started sitting in his development group, and I started learning, doing all my levels of Reiki, practicing Reiki. In the meantime, I got a job as a pharmacy technician.
Just to throw another weird thing in.
Yeah, exactly. One extreme to another. So I hated the job though, but I ended up being there 7 years. And what actually happened in those 7 years was I was developing my skills of communicating with spirit. I was learning more about healing. And then in 2012, my whole world started to fall apart. So we had just moved into a new house. Well, it's an old house, but it was right next door to my parents, right next door to where I grew up. And our place, nothing had been done to it since 1970. So we're living in it with an avocado bathroom and an orange kitchen and
Styling.
yeah, it's like green everywhere in the house. So we're living in it and we're renovating it at the same time. And then my mum, who was 56 at the time, she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh, wow.
And then 3 months later, breast cancer.
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh.
I was in a job that I hated, and my husband and I were diagnosed with unexplained infertility. So we had all of this going on at once, and I thought I was coping, but actually in reality, I wasn't at all. And what brought it to a head was I was doing, like, my behaviors changed. I was doing stuff that was completely out of character. And in the end, I had to take a step back and go, okay, what do I have control over? Because it can't carry on like this. And obviously, the only thing I could control was my job. So I said to myself, okay, what do I want to be doing instead? And it was the healing work.
Right.
So I went, right, okay, I don't want to work for anyone else. I want to be my own boss. I want to do the healing work. So that was 2012. By 2013, because I had started taking the actions, so working in the pharmacy, I was getting to know the customers because they were coming in regularly to pick up their prescriptions. So I was able to have those conversations with them and say, well, have you thought about trying healing? And there were a few of them that were like, I'd love to try that. So I used to go round to their houses after work and do healing on them. So I was building up my practice then. Anyway, I eventually, like before, when the right teachers suddenly appeared in front of me, it happened again. So 2013, a business coach suddenly arrived in front of me. I wasn't looking for one. I didn't know that I needed one, but she suddenly appeared. And I signed up to go on a weekend seminar with her. And again, everything just fell into place. And I had in the back of my mind that after that seminar, I would hand my notice in at work. So I was determined I was going to learn as much as possible about marketing my business and getting out there. Well, as it happened, the universe conspired, and it's basically, I got into an argument with my boss the week before I went to the seminar. And I said, I wasn't going to do this just yet. But as of the 1st of January 2014, I will no longer be working here. And he was like, oh, okay. So this is in the November. So me going along to the seminar, I was like, I really have to do something. I really have to learn. So at the seminar, she then put the offer out for me to work with her, and I signed up. So by January 2014, I was actually running my business full time. I was paying attention to what my business coach was telling me to do. And I did so well in my first year that she actually asked me to start coaching her clients.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, so that's how it all began. But it has changed over the years. It's so different to what it was. I was focusing on stress and anxiety, and then realized that actually it was so much deeper than that. And from all of the other modalities that I'd learned over the years, I realized that actually I was really helping people to understand who they really truly were and how they respond to different stresses in their lives and different situations. And so now it's at the point where I can help my clients understand what type of behaviors they tend to exhibit when they make a choice that is out of alignment with them, so they can then course correct really, really quickly.
That's awesome. First of all, it's an awesome story. Like, right? It's like, I know, because I've gone to psychics as well, and you're always like, I don't know, this could be total crap. But then there's things that, and it's not, I know that some of the they'll say, oh, they just use something general to, make it sound like it's you. But things like the marbles in the tin, like that's too specific.
Yeah.
And the psychic that I went to started talking about a woman who I hadn't actually met yet. And I was like, what's he talking about? And when I met her, I was like,
you're the one.
Her. It's just like, I'm like, how would you even know that I was going to meet this person? It was just so interesting. Yeah. And it is true. I mean, when we're not doing something that's right for us, alignment, or however you want to talk about it, we aren't the people that we're supposed to be. And we're like, I talk about, because I did spend 15 years as a financial executive, and yeah, fine, I was good at it, whatever. But now when I feel that energy, like sometimes when I'm doing my own financial stuff, because I still do it because I know how,
Yeah.
I will say to my husband, accountant Heather is here, because she has a different energy, and she's not always very nice. She's not the regular Heather. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, she just feels different. She feels crabby all the time. And I think it's because, I don't know, we could lie me on a couch and talk about it, but that's not why we're here.
No.
But it is true that if you notice that you don't, I described it as, I didn't like the person that I was. I don't like the person that I am when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So there's some discord there.
Yeah.
Right.
And normally you'll find that the universe is throwing you loads of signals to say you're not in the right place. So it's like things go wrong and you start to, you're not feeling great. You like when I was doing the photography, I knew that eventually it wasn't right for me anymore. And the way that I felt about it completely changed. And I was just miserable. And it was the same working in the pharmacy. I was definitely miserable there.
Right.
I was like the peacekeeper in that place because
Wow.
the team was not great. The team worked well together, but when the boss came in, different story.
Maybe the boss was in the wrong place too, right? Like,
Yeah,
and they just brought that energy into it.
exactly.
Should go back and help that person out. I was thinking about something else you said about change, like your practice has changed. And I think sometimes everybody, to some degree, falls victim to the idea that, well, this is what I said I was going to do, and I can't change it because that would be going against what I said, and I would look bad somehow. But change is like the best thing ever.
Oh, definitely. We are always evolving. So why wouldn't our businesses? And when we're doing this kind of work, especially, we are our business. So we've got to really be authentic. We've got to love what we're doing in order to really be able to help our clients and the people around us.
And I know, I mean, for me, because I'm constantly do my own work to ensure that I can be myself and keep working on myself. And a therapist would say we were working on things, and I came back. I said, "Okay, that's okay now, but now this is happening." And I'm like, he said, "Well, it's layers." I'm like, "How many goddamn layers are there?" Pardon me if for swearing, but I don't really care. And he's like, it's just like, it's almost like turtles all the way down, right? You just, as you peel away something
It's
else.
an onion. You peel back one layer, you think that you've dealt with it, but there's something else that comes
You
up.
know what? I think we're fractals. Do you know what a
Right.
fractal is?
No.
Oh my gosh, you got to look at fractals. So
Okay.
fractals are you go in and in and in and in, and it never ends.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. Like, fractal art is outstanding. Don't look at it if you're under the influence of mind altering substances, because you might
You'll
get
never
lost.
come back out
You'll
again.
never come back out. But fractals, it's like you just go in and in and in and in. And if I didn't do that, then I couldn't continue to help people
No,
raise themselves and be and see new things. So as I learn new things, I have to be okay with, oh, that wasn't exactly before the perfect. Not that anything's perfect, but I'm going to shift over here. I'm going to do this. I went from being a chartered accountant to being a yoga teacher. I mean,
that's just amazing.
people thought I was crazy. They still do. And I think if you give yourself permission to be the crazy person, you can tell me what you think of this. If you give yourself permission to be the crazy person, it's very freeing.
It is so freeing. We are all unique. There is nobody else like us, and trying to be like somebody else or trying to fit into what society says we should or shouldn't be, or what our parents want us to be, or what somebody else wants us to be, it's not going to be right for us. We're going to be totally miserable. So the more that we can actually be ourselves and be okay with being a little bit weird, and it's great.
And it's, it's who's defines what weird is,
Exactly. And what's
right?
normal?
Yeah. I don't think I saw some headline or something recently that actually there was no normal that we've been trying to strive to. No one's actually normal. I'm like, okay, thanks. That's perfect. Now I can just get on with my life.
The best ever compliment I got, and it was from my tutor at college. She wrote on my report, "Sophie is unique." And I was like, yes, I'm taking that.
Right. I was once called a freak in a shopping mall. So I thank that lady for that. It's like, yes, thank you. I am.
I would have gone, yes, I am. Thank you.
I wasn't even all that doing anything all that unusual. It was just happened to be the pants that I was wearing. But so when you're helping clients, how do you go about it?
So I am what's known as an empath.
Okay.
So I feel other people's emotions, their energetic blocks and physical pain. So it allows me to get to the root of actually what's really going on with them very quickly. So they basically can't hide anything. So it's like I had one client who we got on the call, and she had already decided that she wasn't going to tell me about what had happened that day. And
Okay.
so I didn't know this as I got on the call with her. And as I got on the call, my chest was feeling so heavy. It was like there was this massive weight on my chest. And I knew it was hers. It was her energy, because I hadn't been feeling that way until I got on the call with her. And I said to her, why am I feeling this way? This is all about your self-love, your self-worth, how you feel about yourself. And she said, Sophie, I wasn't going to tell you about this, but I've just found out that my husband's been cheating on me. I was like, right, we need to work on this.
Yeah.
We need to deal with your emotions right now so that you can handle this better moving forward. And that's what we did, because there's no way she could go on carrying on to that energy, because she wouldn't have got through it. So that's how it tends to present itself within sessions. But then we can do the much, much deeper work and look at who they truly are as a soul. So looking at their personality, looking at their positive and their negative traits, and helping them understand what happens when they make choices that are out of alignment with who they truly are and what behaviors they tend to exhibit, so they can then course correct really, really quickly and clear any blocks and restrictions that they've got going on that's preventing them from moving forward.
Right. And awareness is being able to see yourself almost from the outside and go, oh, I'm doing that thing, and having someone help you kind of figure out, because course correction can be anything, right? Sometimes I think about, when a doctor or someone says, well, go do this. And you go, I don't know what do you mean? Just go do this. So you need that person, someone, somewhere, somehow to help. If it's somewhere you've never been before,
yeah,
right?
You just need that guidance.
You just need someone to help you find the way there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just wandering lost in the fractals.
Yeah.
You're going to go Google fractals. Everyone's
I
going to
am
go
now.
Google
I'm just
fractals.
seeing it like psychedelic at the moment, with all of these colors and these swirls going on.
They're pretty awesome, I have to say. And do you still do Reiki with people?
So it's no longer Reiki. So the thing with me learning Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
great at the time. I feel it was a stepping stone for me to move on to what I'm doing, because one of the things that I really struggled with, and I still don't know them now, are the symbols that you learn in Reiki. And
I know. I just don't know like I have to always look up the distance one because it's so complicated.
They just do not sit in my head. And I came to the conclusion that actually I'm not meant to use them.
Oh, they're
not for me.
Yeah.
But what Reiki allowed me to do was understand that actually you don't have to be with the person to do healing.
Right.
You can be at a distance and do it. It doesn't matter.
And distance is only in this dimension anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all about intention and just connecting. You don't, you can just know the person's name, or you could have a photo of them, or like I do, I can have a client in Australia and be here in England, and we can do healing work. So there's no boundaries to it. So
whenever I talk to the people in Australia, it's usually the next day. I'm like, what's it like tomorrow? Even though, I mean, we're all well, maybe we're not all existing kind of right in this moment-ish. But it's just, your mind just starts to bend and twist trying to figure that one out. And it's true. I mean, I watched, there was a science experiment where they were affecting a molecule of something in one space, and the other one was somewhere far away. But they were connected somehow. Can't remember exactly how it worked, but when they affected one, the other one reacted.
amazing.
Right? Have you seen the movie What the Bleep Do We Know?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm learning so much on this conversation.
Right? That's a movie. I have the Down the Rabbit Hole, which is the extended version, which is probably like 3 hours long. And I've probably watched it. I watch it over and over because you'll hear something new, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was talking to my coach, and he says there's an audiobook that he listens to every year just to retune. And he says he'll listen to it and think, I don't think they said that last time.
Yeah.
Because you're in a different place. Talk about,
Exactly.
keep working on yourself. You're in a different place and you're able to hear something different.
Yeah. And that's why on the really in-depth sessions I do with my clients, I record them for them.
Oh, good.
So they can go back and they can listen to it, because you're ready to hear certain things at certain times. So when I've had the work done on myself, again, I constantly go back to those recordings or those teachings, so that I can then go, I missed that last time. I'm ready to work on this now.
Right. And giving yourself permission.
Yeah. You don't have to do it all at once.
You can't do it all at once.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
It's so impossible. And I guess, so you've now just totally focused all of your energies now to this. There's no more funny side jobs. You're not business coaching anymore, in case people. Oh.
So.
But wait, there's more.
So with those two sides to my business now, because what I found was that I'm working with women who are mainly running their own businesses. A lot of the time, because you can't really separate anything in your life. So I found that actually we were talking a lot about their businesses as well. So now I have the Create a Life You Love side, which is mainly focused on getting my clients into the right place, knowing what they want in their lives, knowing how to create it, and knowing who they really truly are as a soul and what's in alignment for them. But now I've got soul coaching for business as well, so that we can look at their actual business and look at them and how they function in their businesses, see whether or not their goals are in alignment with themselves and with their businesses, and also if they have other people contributing to the business. So say somebody's doing like Facebook ads for them, we can see whether or not that company's actually in alignment with them and their business.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And if it's not in alignment, then they can do something about it. They don't have to keep spending that money and waste not getting results.
And you can see where you've like, I see this a lot with people who hire VAs. It's like they would have spent a lot of money and then it wasn't the right person, right?
Yeah.
They had the wrong person, but it's a trial and error instead of let's just find out if it's the right person.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You should do recruiting. You should help people with recruiting. I've got another branch for you, recruiting staff, how to make sure they're the right staff for you. I'm
Well,
thinking
the
of,
way to make sure that they're the right staff is to not look at their skill set, but to look at their values, and do their values actually match with you and your business?
right.
If they
And
don't, there's no point in hiring them.
yeah, yeah. And skills can always be taught,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And I used to think of it when I had staff. It's like, do I want to work with this person? Do I want to see this person every day? You know, in some ways you spend more time with coworkers than your family
Exactly.
during your life, depending on what kind of business you're in. So
Yeah.
you better enjoy spending time with those people. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you're going to
Yeah.
be Miss Cranky Pants.
Yeah.
You'll be accountant, Heather.
For 7 years, I was cranky pants.
That's that. Yeah, right. But the universe conspired, and off you
Exactly.
went. And
Yeah.
that's so. And do you still have a green bathroom?
No, I've moved house.
I've seen renovations cause divorces, so I'm always worried when people are renovating and living.
No, what we did was we got the house to a point where it was livable, and we really loved it. But actually, this is another story as to why we moved house, because my mum at the end of 2019, she passed away. And which was a relief, because we'd been losing her. So I'd been grieving over the years that she was ill.
Right.
So she passed away in the November 2019. But what we weren't expecting was 5 months later, in the April 2020, was for my dad to suddenly pass away in his sleep.
Oh, wow.
So that was a massive shock. We were not expecting it at all. I found him and had to try and resuscitate him. So that was in itself a trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And we had already decided, literally like 3 months beforehand, that we would move probably within the next 18 months to 2 years. But as soon as my dad died, it was, I can't live here anymore. I can't stay in this house anymore. It just doesn't feel right. And so we moved. So we are now in a lovely, lovely house, which I've got amazing neighbours around me. And it's like, we're meant to have road meetings. Those road meetings turn into parties.
That's the kind of place you want to live.
Exactly. There's only 7 houses here, and it just turns into a party every single time.
And you still have your meetings, you still know what's going on. It's all fabulous. And then it went away. Whatever that thought was, it was too fast for me to grab onto its tail. And for people to, since I can't think of what it was, if people want to reach out to you and connect with you.
Yeah, they can. So I'm in various different places. So I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I have just started using Instagram. Only just. Because it's one of those things, the universe kept bringing it up in front of me, and everyone kept asking me if I was on Instagram. So I am now. So I'm in those places, but I also offer a 30-minute curiosity call. So if someone is curious to find out more, we have this half-hour call on Zoom where we can chat about where you're at right now, where you want to get to. And because of the way that I work, I will pick up on what's maybe preventing you from getting there. And then if it feels like a match, we can talk about how we can work together some more. If it doesn't, then there's always, because I do so much networking, I call myself a networking tart. So I know other people, other therapists, other coaches that may be able to help instead.
Right. So that is part of what I love about networking is I know that I'm not going to be I know I won't have what everyone needs, but I have a whole bucket full of people, right?
A team behind you, haven't you?
Yeah. And they're all outstanding and they're all amazing. And by the way, all those links, friends, I can't remember whether it's above or below. Depends on where you're watching. Somewhere around all of us is in the show notes to connect. and make sure that you can have some, if you are curious, I love the name of that. If you're curious, have a curiosity call. I'm so going to use that. Before we go anywhere, though, I always ask, do you have any final words of wisdom?
My final words of wisdom are always just be you, because everybody else is taken. And the more that you become your true self and you do what the things that you feel are right for you, not what society says you should do, not what your parents have wanted for you, or maybe your spouse or anybody else. It's about, does it sit right with you and does it feel right for you? You're going to be happy because you're making the choices from your own power, and that's you connecting with who you really truly are.
That's awesome words of wisdom. And if only everybody could follow that, the world would be so much happier, right?
I mean, we've been conditioned not to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I know I asked for that to be a final word of wisdom, but it made me think of something that quite often people are disconnected from what feels right.
Yeah.
Right. So having someone help them navigate back into what that feeling is, to know when it feels like it's right, is a big, big blessing on the world.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sophie.
Thank you for having me, Heather.
Of course. Oh my gosh. So excited to talk to you from the first time we connected. So I'm glad that we were able to make the time zones and the dimensions align.
Yeah. And it happened when it was meant to.
Exactly when it was meant to. Thank you. And thank you, my friend, for listening and tuning in and checking this out. If you have questions, definitely connect with Sophie. There's links everywhere. Don't forget to comment, share, like, all those fabulous things that we do on the land of social media. Take care, my friends. I will see you again soon. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Just give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.